validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I am your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Today is going to be a very good Sunday night. I got you some very interesting Q&As from the comments this week, so we're going to be trying to take a look at a lot of those. I was trying to test the audio file earlier today, and it wasn't in my favor, but we still got it. So I'm going to try to see if I can make this thing work for us today. Make sure that you guys remember to like and subscribe. StreamYard still working on that with the audio thing. You know, if it's not one thing, it's another. First, you got the internet problem. Now you got the audio files aren't working the way you want them to work. Just when you put everything together and now you're like, oh, I'm going to put this down. And then all of a sudden something happens the way you didn't expect it to happen. But the show must go on. You can't just cancel the show because the audio file doesn't play. Worst case scenario, I'll read the text the way I did last time. It was like a few weeks ago when we had that issue on a Sunday where the audio file wasn't playing, but StreamYard is still working on it. So as I let them know every Sunday that the audio files don't play sound, they will eventually fix it. Either way, one way or another, we're going to make this thing work. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Real quick, I just want to tell you guys, if you want to join the show, you can click that link, approve the mic, approve the camera, come on in real time as long as you're over the age of 18. I'm paying attention to the green room. looking at that. Beyond that, guys, TikTok just got banned first thing this morning. So they went dark. If you tried logging in, it gave you a nice little pop-up that told you that that was not an option, and then offered for you to log out or close the app. So you couldn't even go in there and watch other countries. The only way you're going to be able to utilize TikTok, at least for the next 24 to 48 hours, is if you have a VPN on whatever device that you're utilizing to redirect your signal to like Hong Kong or something, and then be able to get onto TikTok. And even in that scenario, you have certain concerns. If those are concerns, you have certain concerns that may interfere with your ability to comfortably utilize TikTok versus whatever level of comfort you had when we clicked that approve button and let them do whatever they wanted to do just so that we could utilize the service. So if you could care less before, probably VPN yourself over there and try to rock it out right now. But either way, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to stream from another location, even with the VPN. Because the US ban is going to prohibit the signal in either direction. So you're just going to have to deal with that. Beyond that, the fire is still somewhat burning, but they have contained most of it. It's not out yet, but it's minimized. Not as severe as it used to be, but a large majority of properties has been heavily damaged as a result of the fire. So we're going to be keeping you guys posted by it. I had quoted 2 to 3 weeks of burning. I figured that it would be done by the time we get to February. We still got like 11 more days left before I can say I told you so on that. I said it'd be out by February. I got a chance to tell my buddy from Taiwan this morning, I told you so, about the eastward winds, because those eastward winds do occur. He didn't really believe me. He was like, no, the winds blow to the west, they blow towards the ocean. I'm sitting here looking at him like, bro, I've been in this country for 41 years. In the winter time, the wind will blow from the west coast to the east coast. Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi always gets that eastward wind from the northwest that blows all the cold air from Canada and all of the ocean air from California all the way over to Georgia. And it happens every year for the past 40-something years. Just which month out of the year does it occur? That's the only difference. But as global warming continues to shift our climates, instead of our Christmas starting in like October, November, December, or November, December, January, now it's shifted so much to the point where we don't even experience the cold front till the middle of January. So January, February, and March are the coldest months out of the year. But I was able to tell him I told you so when it came down to the fire still burning. TikTok still banned. So I got a whole nother homeboy that I got to contact and tell him I told you so, because he's like, it's not gonna happen. Right. That's what just happened. It just halted, what, 12 hours ago, 15 hours ago, something like that, that there was literally no no TikTok usage. So 170 million people woke up today and were pissed. But we kind of saw this coming. Now, if Trump is a man of his word and he's able to make changes, but you got to understand that he's one man and going up against 500 men in the House and the Senate that's supposed to overrule the Supreme Court. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be able to happen. But if he can work out a deal with ByteDance, he could probably get them to adhere to whatever regulations that's causing them to get the ban, so that they don't have to get the ban. That might be pretty interesting. But that's not what we were talking about today. Today we were supposed to be doing our questions and comments on the show. And hopefully this audio file is going to run for us today. So I'm going to try to give this a whirl. I might have to re-upload the file so that I could put it together for you guys for your entertainment. But let me just check like 8 or 9 seconds and see if this thing is going to run for you guys. If you can hear it and I can hear it too, we can go ahead and go for it. Let's see. Sharing of photos, video chats, sharing all the insecurities and having reassurance is given. More discussions. And I'm guessing that you guys aren't hearing that one. So all right, we're gonna have to drop it and pull it back in. That happened one time before. I told you guys that we had that issue. And it's not much that I can besides reload the thing. And then we're gonna go ahead and see what happens here.
Why do men do this shit?
And this
Talked for
time it
6
should be
days, lots of
not
commonalities,
5, 6,
and yes,
7.
maybe he
Nope,
love
it's not
bombed.
giving us the sound.
Sharing of
All
photos,
right.
video chats,
This is going to be
sharing
numerous
all
things.
the insecurities and having deep convos, reassurances given, more discussions from beginning of day, and while he was at work at night. Made plans to meet, discussed how happy we both were for the chemistry, like he said, everything right. Spontaneously meet the day
This is gonna be
before our
tricky.
scheduled meeting, because he just couldn't wait, lol. Met for about 2 hours, and in that time there was intense staring, hand-holding, laughter, convo, just a lot. He asked if we wanted to delete our dating apps to focus on each other and see where it goes. Of course I was happy. Next morning his pattern stopped. No good morning. I reached out. 2
No,
hours
that's not
later he
good.
responded, basic good morning, no excitement, then gone. No more read. Removal from social media. Ghost. Like why? Does this happen? And what does one truly get out of involving someone else's emotions and time? To clarify, no intimacy and 6 days because scheduling didn't let us meet any other time. Are people not supposed to communicate in other ways if they can't meet in person? And maybe I wasn't okay meeting right away. Some with this.
Oh wait, hold on. She's still got more to say.
6-day comments. We had conversations, period,
I
like
got a
any
lag
normal
here, so
person
I'm
would do
listening
getting
to
to
you
know
guys
someone.
listen
They
to
just
it.
happen to feel exciting and cool. And my ADHD doesn't let me collect a roster and keep up with it rolling on the floor laughing. I prefer to get to know one person at a time.
I'm currently 27, sitting at a high-end restaurant, sipping on.
All right. So we're gonna try to make this work today. We got another person coming in. See, I gotta roll it back a little bit. This is gonna I told you this is gonna be a challenge today. We got to, so apparently she has this issue where she's talking to a person online, and then after they have had their first date, after that you start getting ghosted. I'm going to tell you that's going to be the common habit of dating in 2025. Everybody pretty much is going to be in that scenario where they're going to be dealing with this individual that wants to talk, that claims that they want to talk to you, but they end up ghosting you and putting you in a compromising situation where you kind of regret the fact that they are talking to you. And I mean, the thing is that there's not much that we can do besides go back and say, live and learn and get back out there and try it again. And it's hard because you're not going to be able to say that, oh, I'm going to prepare myself for this. I know what to do. And you don't really know what to do. You don't know how to handle these things. You don't know how to approach it. But when you start getting individuals that start making excuses and not showing up, you have to understand that the more effort you put into trying to meet their schedule, the less you're going to feel good about yourself when you realize that they're playing you. Now, I understand that there are people who have busy schedules. There are people who have to answer to their jobs. There are people who work comes first, family members come first, and they will, at the drop of a hat, abandon their personal lives so that they can get out there and take care of the things that they have prioritized in their life because they're duty bound to whatever that is. If you get into a relationship with that person and that person is not genuinely abandoning you because they're playing games, they're leaving you hanging because they're duty bound to whatever came before you, you have to understand that you're going to always be number two in that relationship, or number three if you're prioritizing more than one thing. So you have to find a balance where if you're going to commit yourself to an individual, that he or she is going to prioritize you at some point, to some degree, to some magnitude, that you are satisfied with whatever level that validates you. Now, think about this. Husbands and wives of law enforcement agents, husbands and wives of military agents, husbands and wives of CIA agents, husbands and wives of doctors. These people are on call. Husbands and wives of lawyers. These people are on call. So even when they're off, they're not off. If enough of an emergency happens, they've got to go to work. So you can't really say that people are just ditching you and blaming work because they are using that as an excuse to ghost you. But I mean, if they don't make it up to you, that part is unacceptable. Yes, You can have an emergency. You can cancel. You can cancel more than once because your life is not in order. But to make that up to me, you are supposed to set up a scenario where you're going to cater to me to make up for the fact that you were absent when I was trying to cater to you, because that's mutual respect. If you're going to do that, then it's okay for you to cancel on somebody. But if in the event that you're canceling, I'm investing all this money into the scenario, you're canceling, I can't get a refund on this, because you got to think there's certain things that there's no refund on: concert tickets, special event tickets, yacht parties, exclusive, anything. You can't just say, oh, well, they're not going, give me my money back. No, your money is gone. You're sitting there, the show's about to start, you've already cashed in the tickets to get the seats, and they're not there. So you just got 2 seats by yourself, and you've got to be able to accept that. If you're not going to be that person that's going to buy an extra set of tickets for the following show and wait for them to show up because they're going to be an hour or 2 hours late, then by all means, you're going to be the one that's going to be sitting there wishing that they showed up. But you can't make them feel bad about it after they're late, because you knew when you met them that they were dedicated to something else more than they were dedicated to you, whether it's work, whether it's family, whatever the case may be. They're not going to be on time if something else is prioritizing them when y'all first started dating. So it's not like 10 years down the line and all of a sudden he started prioritizing something else. He's been prioritizing this long before he met you. So you can't get jealous of their career 10 years into the marriage. That makes no sense. But some people do. Some people will feel bad about something 50 years later and bring it up 50 years later instead of addressing it when it was first a problem. If it's a problem, it's a problem. It's going to always be a problem until you say something. So you got to talk about it as soon as it becomes a problem. All right, let's go ahead and see what we can do about this next comment here.
I'm currently 27, sitting at a high-end restaurant, sipping on red wine, because I decided to take myself out on a date. Lately, I've been feeling a tad lonely. Maybe it's because I've been single for nearly 5 years now. The holiday season, while beautiful, stirred up some bittersweet emotions, especially as 2 of my close friends got engaged over the holidays. Don't get me wrong, I'm genuinely happy for them, but it's moments like these that make me reflect on my own journey and wonder when it'll be my turn. That said, I've realized how important it is to cultivate a loving relationship with yourself first. There's something profoundly beautiful about being single. The freedom to do what you want, when you want, and the opportunity to get to know yourself on a deeper level. Tonight, I'm celebrating that. I'm reminding myself that love, whether from someone else or within, is worth the wait, but in the meantime, there's no harm in enjoying your own company. Taking yourself out on dates like this can be empowering. You learn to appreciate your own presence and treat yourself with the same care you'd want from a partner. Yes, I still yearn for companionship, but until the right person comes along, I'm going to keep prioritizing myself, growing, and creating moments of joy like this. Who knows? Maybe when love does arrive, I'll be even more ready to embrace it. So, if you're single right now and feeling a little down, try dating yourself. It's a reminder that your happiness doesn't have to depend on someone else, it can start with you. Good luck to all.
Well, guys, I can tell you that is something that's going to happen on a regular basis with us men, because we are going to be dating ourselves for a hot minute. We don't have a choice in the matter, because when we have to deal with the engagement, and then after we deal with the engagement, we have to deal with the rejection, and there's nothing that we can do about the fact that that's going to happen. That the lady is going, more often than not, she's going to say no. More often than not, you're going to have to accept that no and then move forward, hopefully in a more positive position. It doesn't always happen, but for men, the rejection does happen because, first of all, women are approached more often than men. So by the 500 to 600 times a day that a woman is going to be approached by a man, she's going to say no probably 499 times. And those 499 men got to go ask another woman. Those 499 men got to keep asking a woman until one woman says yes. The one guy that gets the yes gets the yes. And if he doesn't screw it up, or if she turns out to not be toxic, then he doesn't have to go back out and ask a second time. But for the other 499 men that continuously get told no, you got to keep accepting that no until you make it to that one yes. It's the quagmire method. The more the numbers game, where the more often that you ask, the more likely you'll get a yes. But the fact is that it is hard to accept that rejection and deal with that rejection, no matter if you're a man or a woman. It is a level of pain that an individual has to endure in order to be told that I don't feel the same way that you do. And it doesn't matter how many times that it happens, each time it happens, you still feel this pain in the bottom of your stomach, like you're swallowing your heart, and then you're digesting it, and you have to get back out there and try again. And usually when you're rejected, you don't really try to get yourself back out there in the same day. A lot of people throw alcohol to the wind and say, well, I'm going to talk to 10 or 15 girls in this bar. By the time you get to the person that says yes, that person probably seen you hit on 14 other girls, and she's probably just saying, sure, I'll give him pity attention because I don't have anybody. But that's not going to lead to a long-standing relationship. The fact is that if you're looking for quality over quantity, instead of putting yourself out there in a reckless fashion where you're approaching random individuals, you probably should follow this lady's advice and just go out there and have yourself a good time by yourself, enjoying yourself. And if somebody decides to entertain you while you're out there entertaining yourself, that you could potentially build something with that person. You want somebody to like you for who you are. And if they're going to bring something to the table that's going to benefit you, you want to be able to make sure that since you're benefiting her as a man by providing her with your resources, that she's benefiting you as a woman. So the fact is that if we're as men going out there and all we're trying to do is get laid, we're going to spend more time approaching women and getting rejected by women because our intentions aren't pure when we're not looking for the one. Because truth be told, if you walked up to a woman just to have a casual conversation because she was sitting there by herself, you came there by yourself, and you just wanted to have a simple conversation, I'm going to be honest with you. Whether or not she has a boyfriend doesn't matter. Because you walked up and it's like, well, you looked like you might be a good person from across the room, and I thought that you'd be a good conversation while I was here. That doesn't necessarily mean that I expected you to follow me out of this place. So if you were having an intelligent conversation with this person, then her having a boyfriend isn't relevant. Now, if you're looking for a girlfriend or a jump off or something like that, she tells you that she has a boyfriend, whether she's telling the truth or she's lying, it's a no-go. And the reason why is because if she's going to lie to you when she first meets you, what is she going to do to you when she has earned your trust and your confidence? So ladies, in a situation where a man walks up to you and they start talking to you, instead of you lying to them and telling them that you have a boyfriend when you don't, just tell them the truth. You're clearly not interested. You're not interested at all. And you don't have to be embarrassing about it. You don't have to be humiliating about it. You don't have to loud cap him in the club. You can even buy him a complimentary drink to thank him for his efforts, especially if he bought you a drink to break the ice. That way you don't owe him anything and he doesn't feel like he screwed himself out of investing in this particular engagement. Reimburse him for his attempt. You don't necessarily have to, but it's mutual respect. He validated you enough to come over and talk to you, and he bought you a drink. Validate his efforts and say, hey, I got your next one, but I'm not interested. And put his next drink on the tab. Tell a bartender, hey, get him one just because. And apply that mutual respect. That would really improve the in-person dating game, because the dating game on social media is all about, if you don't like what you see with the other person's profile, or if you don't like what you see with the other person's comment, then you're not even going to acknowledge them. A lot of the times you have on certain dating apps where you have to pay a membership in order to communicate with the other people. You may be on the dating app for free, hoping that somebody who pays for the app will communicate with you. You have more people on the app for free with that same mentality. But the problem with that is that if you find a profile that you might be interested in, if you don't pay for the app, that profile could be a dummy profile, but that profile could genuinely be your match. But because you're not willing to invest in a profile, you're not willing to find out. The other problem is, though, that there's a lot of apps that have a lot of bait accounts where they will send you just about every profile under the sun, and whichever one convinces you to buy into the premium, that's the one that hooks you in. But then you're going to be answering a bunch of ridiculous questions. They're going to end up dragging you into a scenario where they're going to tell you that they have emotional distress somewhere, and then you've got to save them financially. And that's when you realize that this was a bait, and then you have to start over, but you are already investing on the platform. might as well keep investing. See how many people that you can communicate with and see where you can go with this. But one thing I can tell you, based on what she was saying, and I've experienced this once or twice myself. If somebody starts talking to you on the profile and then they ask you, do you want to delete your profile so that you can focus on them? Don't do it, because their only thing they're doing is having you delete your profile so that they don't accidentally come back across your profile. Because there are some people that are literally catfishing, where they got like 12 or 15 phones sitting in front of them, and they're just sitting there texting a bunch of different people on a bunch of different accounts, and half the time don't even remember who they're talking to. That's why you got to pay attention to the photo reel, because you might get, in some situations, they get sloppy and they start sending you different photos of different women because they don't actually pay attention to which person that they're sending the photo of. And the fact is that on social media apps, people can take a screenshot of whatever profile photo you put up there, and then they can use that photo to create a dummy account that looks exactly like you and put all of your personal information up there, and somebody else could be running with your profile on a completely different dating app. So you also got to be careful with what photos you put up there. I would prefer that, and I'd recommend that you people do the same, that when you get on these social media dating apps, that you put appropriate photos up there. I know so many women like to they want to show their features, because men are attracted to bare assets. So women are in bathing suits, they're showing off their rear ends, they're showing off extra cleavage, they're showing off more than their belly button, they're showing off all of their tattoos. I'm going to be honest with you. If you can't get a man with long sleeve shirts, a turtleneck, a skirt down to your ankles, then that man ain't trying to come after you for the long haul. He's trying to get at you for the short term. Because the truth is that if you've got to expose yourself in order to attract the man that you're attracting is going to be wanting, first and foremost, sex. Now, if in the event that the sex is good, he might want consistent sex, but you're not actually getting a man that thinks, oh, she's smart because she's got a bachelor's degree. Truthfully, men don't care about a woman's education. As long as she's competent enough to follow instructions, they don't really care if she's smart. A lot of women are going to be like, oh, I got a career. Men don't care about women with jobs, because men are expected to pay for everything anyway. So unless her career is going to be paying for his standard of living so that he doesn't have to work, her having a career is completely irrelevant, because he's primarily going to take care of stuff, and whatever he can't afford to do, she'll do. But whatever she decides to do gives him more money to give to her anyway. So he's still paying for most of the stuff. Think about the guy that we were talking about on the show last week, who gave his girl his whole paycheck. She made $1,000 a year more than him. So he was making like 50. She was making 51. All of his income was going on the house except for about $75 a week. That's it. So she basically gave him enough money for gas and food, and she took his whole paycheck, but she kept her whole paycheck. Like, what the fuck? but they're supposed to be a partnership. Now, I understand that even in the Philippines, you can give your Filipino wife the finances, and she'll make sure that you don't go broke, because that'll take care of her standard of living. But the problem that you have is that if you don't have the type of woman that's trying to invest where your money's making more money for you, not just spending the money that you make, you're never coming out of or going into retirement, buddy, because every dollar that you make is going to get spent, and every dollar that she makes goes to something else. Doesn't matter what it goes to. It doesn't matter if it goes to friends. Doesn't matter if it goes to entertainment. Doesn't matter if it goes to her looks. If you're living on a $60,000 a year income, and his 50 is going on it, and your 10 is going on it, and you've got 41, and you're not putting that 41 into some stocks, bonds, real estate, life insurance policies, and all this other stuff, so that if something happens, y'all got extra money on the back end, you're screwing up your whole relationship. Because marriage is a financial institution these days. It's not about getting married in the eyes of the Lord. It's about combining your financial assets and getting additional tax breaks as a joint entity. That's what it is. It's actually a merger, because you're two single businesses that are merging together in a marriage. That's what it is, which is why you combine your assets, you combine your net income, and then your gross income is whatever you guys have left over after y'all finish paying each other's bills. So you got to remember that marriage is a business. And since you understand that marriage is a business, you also have to understand that in order for you to find a very good business partner, that you have to find that business mindset in your partner. So if she's not about promoting your success so that your success can pay her in the long run, then she must be willing to invest in your success so that her investment gives her dividends in return. If you're not getting one of those scenarios, you don't have a very good partner, because she's going to expect him to carry the whole load. And if he's not carrying the whole load, then he's not worth it. He's not considered a man. So when we start talking about the men that ghost women, I can tell you right now, I'm a man, and I can tell you off the top that if there's a certain age limit, I'm not going there, because I'm looking for children. So she's got too many kids. I'm not going there. She's extra divorced. We're not going there either. You got a lot of problems there. When we start looking at emotional damage, we're like, there's certain red flags that men are going to avoid. When we're on those dating profiles, if she's looking for a generous man, that's a gold digger. We're not going there. If she's looking for trips around the world, we're not going there. If you live in another country and I'm going to fly to that country and come get you, that's the only trip that you're going to get. Am I going to put it in my budget to fly you to a different country every year? No, that's a waste of money. So if you're looking at these profiles and you're not finding a wholesome woman that is looking for a man that will love and respect her so that she can love and respect and validate and cater to his needs, if that's not in her bio anywhere, she ain't worth your time. Now, granted, you can find somebody who, oh, I love hiking. That's fine. You can go hiking up the side of an interstate. As long as you don't hitch a ride, it's legal. But I'm not about to take you to Mount Everest, Mount Fuji, Mount Kilimanjaro, talking about we're going hiking. I don't even walk to the post office box. I don't walk to the mailbox at the end of my driveway. I get in the car and back out the driveway to go to the mailbox. So I'm not going hiking. I'll follow you in the car, but I'm not going hiking. So you got to really start thinking about what you're getting into. Another thing, they got some profiles on the dating apps where females is talking about, oh, I met this dude at the gym. I don't work out no more. And now he's talking about how I'm lazy and stuff. Well, if you dating a gym rat, sweetheart, you're not supposed to be a couch potato. That's not going to work. You have to prioritize. If you're getting a gym rat, sweetheart, you can't just get him because he got muscles. He going to the gym on a regular basis. He's going to expect you to go to the gym on a regular basis because he found you in the gym. If you're not trying to be a gym rat, then don't go to the gym and go find you no man. You can find him outside of the gym. But you can't say that you're going to hook up with this dude and he's at the gym 7 days a week for 2 hours a day. And you're going to tell me that he's going to be okay with you being a couch potato? Nah, that's not going to work. So you got to also remember your priorities, y'all. You got to remember your priorities. But let's go ahead and see what's going on with the next one here.
After 30 dates, I only get to first dates with women I like. For context, I'm 27, Asian, philo, average looking I would say, and have a good job in tech. I've never had success with women I liked who I went out with. After the date, they usually lose interest, ghost me, or say, I had a great time, but there's someone else I'd like to put more time with, or I don't feel an romantic inclination, or you're really great, but I met someone and I like to give more time to them. I think I'm a pretty decent guy who have feminine interests like theater and musicals, and they all say I'm pretty easy to talk to. Maybe I just give off a friend vibe, not someone to be in a relationship with. I'm coming to a point where I'm almost ready to give up dating, as I'm starting to think I'm always the second option. It feels bad, but I'm never one to blame another person. I know there's something I need to improve on, but I just don't know what. I've even went to therapy for this because it's really starting to impact me. It's like I'm good enough, but never the first.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to hold on. Let me finish this one.
She is 32 and slept with someone else and told me at 32 it's not cheating.
Oh, it did finish. Okay. We're still working on the sound situation, but look, guy's talking about he's having an issue with the females that he's going out with, because out of the 30 dates, he continues to get put into the friend zone. It's not him, it's them, according to what he's saying. And he's right, it's not him, it is them. A good guy is never going to be the first choice. A good guy is always going to be the last choice. Women are confused in believing that a man wants a seasoned woman, and that is not the case. Men want rookies. Women want a seasoned man, and men do not want seasoned women. Women with high levels of experience has high levels of arrogance. Women with high levels of experience has high egos. Women with high levels of experience has low levels of cooperation and low levels of flexibility. When you start identifying yourself as a perfect 10, when you recognize that you have flaws, there's an error in your judgment. So a man is not going to be able to be first choice for a woman that's trying to play the field. Some women might see that you're a really good man and then decide that I'm not going to corrupt him. And we appreciate that in some magnitudes, but we really wish that you would have gave us a chance at being the kind of guy that would get you to stop being a whore. Because truth be told, that's really the only reason why some women are avoiding the good guy, because you're not finished sleeping around with all of the bad guys that are not good for you. But once they finish sleeping around and they're in their 30s, sometimes in their 40s, now they're on a dating app trying to find a good man that they can settle down with. And at this point, they probably even have 3 or 4 kids for 4 different men. But the fact is that that guy that was there before the first kid that would have treated her well and would have been the father of all 4 of her children consecutively and never left her side is the kind of man that they keep as a best friend. That is the fallback guy. That is the in case nothing works out, any of my prospects all fail and I run out of new prospects, then I can fall back on you guy. That is the guy that I can cry on the shoulder of because the boyfriend that I'm with ain't treating me right kind of guy. That is the guy that I compare all of my future boyfriends with kind of guy. It is not the guy that the woman chooses first. Fella, don't feel bad about that because it ain't you. That's the problem there. If you were in relationships where they did not like your attitude, they did not like your choices, they did not like your decision-making process, which is different from your choices, because you could just make stupid choices, or you could just have a very complicated decision-making process that's completely unnecessary, and we could have gotten to the point a whole lot faster. You could have poor habits. You could have poor social skills in your relationship that could turn them off. And then I would say, bro, it's you. Because you had them, you were in this relationship for a few months or whatever, and it didn't work out because they did not like the way you behaved. But very few times does a woman say, oh, I'm not going to date him, or I'm not going to continue to date him because I don't like how he behaves. More often than not, it is, I don't like what he's not doing. I don't like what he's not giving to me. I don't like what I'm not experiencing here. But none of that is going to be followed with, I don't like the fact that he doesn't respect me. I don't like the fact that he doesn't value me. That's never a complaint from the women. That's a complaint from the men. The men are more often than not the ones that say, man, I feel like crap because no matter what I do for her, no matter how far I put myself out there, all she does is take that and walk away with it. She doesn't even say thank you half the time. And those are the good men that end up being emotionally destroyed. And over time, they end up in a position where those men start shutting off emotionally, and then they're no longer available. That's when women start dating the kind of men that are emotionally distant. They become emotionally distant after repetitively being rejected, not before the relationship, during the relationship. So he just spent all of this effort to get the girl, and she's still rejecting him in the relationship. But she might sleep with him every now and again, and she's using up all of his resources, but he gets no emotional confirmation, no validation, no security at all. And eventually she's going to leave him for somebody else that she more effectively fancies for whatever reason, whether he is more physically attractive or he's taller, because a lot of the women are chasing tall men for some reason when short men are just as good as tall men, and there are no atomic differences between the height and the length, if you know what I'm saying. So I mean, it's not like you're going to get a tall long man and you're not going to get a short man. So I mean, let's just face it, that the only thing that you got going for you by getting a man that's 6'5" is that he's going to hit his head on the ceiling because your ceiling is pretty low. That's about it. He's going to have to ball up in a knot to get into your fiat. That's about it. But beyond that, there's no difference. Either way, though, while women are judging men by their height, women expect men not to judge a woman by her weight, which is the equivalence, but men will accept a woman no matter what her size is. So ladies, you also have to think about that. You have to think about the validation of yourself as well as the validation of the man that you choose. So fella, I can tell you that it's going to be a tough call. It's going to be a deep grind for you to put yourself in that position where you're going to continue trying to get out there and find yourself somebody, even in the dating game, that is not really working out for you. But I can tell you that if you focus more on your own personal success and just hover, like the first lady told you to do, is just hover in life with trying to enjoy your own personal time instead of being afraid of being alone, because a lot of people are afraid to be alone. If you stop being afraid to be alone, you might find yourself more at peace, and then you won't give off this vibe of desperation. Walk out of a building, I could give two shits if somebody talks to me, and I can tell you that if they do talk to me, I'm not thinking that they're making a pass at me. I leave with my service animals, and I can tell you that if they compliment me on my service animals, I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to keep it pushing. I am not going to think that was an opening line for her to tell me that she's interested in me. I'm not going to think that, because you complimented my dogs. You didn't compliment my outfit. You didn't compliment my hair. You didn't compliment my physique, my facial structure, or anything like that. You complimented the dogs that are sitting next to me. That's not going to give me a clue that you're interested in me. So we could have a whole conversation, and I'll just be sitting there paying attention to my dogs and drinking my drinks and having a good time, and probably meet a few dozen people, because when you go to a place that a lot of people like animals, I can guarantee you that there will be a lot of people that'll come and approach you just to come and pet the dogs. So it turns into it actually has that same level of vanity that a woman would get by wearing an extremely attractive outfit and being approached by a bunch of men. It's the same thing. Like, you got to stand out. But again, since men are not looking for finances and education, what does a woman have to do to stand out when a bunch of women are walking up trying to pet the dog? Probably have to walk up and say, oh, I think you are an amazing person. That would stand out in the crowd. The same way, when women are looking at a bunch of men that's willing to throw money at them and pay for their standard of living without having any interaction with them at all, that's a desperate move to even make that type of offer. But even in those types of scenarios, you're looking at the fact that if she's going to pick a guy, she's going to pick that guy that went out of his way for her without having to go for broke. So the guy that gave her a ride when it was raining, the guy that helped her move when she was getting kicked out of her ex-boyfriend's house, the guy that gave her a shoulder to cry on when she was looking miserable in the bar. You know, those guys are going to be the ones that's it. But that they don't have to be good guys. They just have to be convenient guys. You see how the situation is jaded. The situation is jaded. So, bro, you just got to keep on keeping on. That's the only thing I can tell you. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one here.
Because I said I wasn't seeing anyone. That doesn't mean I can't sleep with people. We dated for 3 years, broke up. Then several months later, she told me she couldn't imagine her life without me. We aren't official, but I asked her, and you're not seeing anyone anymore, right? She said she was off dating apps and had ended things with the other guy. She started talking about marriage. We spent so much time together. A month and a half later, she went to visit friends for New Year's. One of the people was a friend she hooked up with a couple of times over our break. I didn't know this. He wanted more, but she didn't. They went to a concert, got fucked up on K, and slept together. She got pregnant and told me yesterday she's aborting. I'm so hurt. She's showing some remorse, but saying it's not cheating because we're not in a relationship. I feel like it's pretty clear when we agreed not to date other people, it means no sex with others. Is this inaccurate?
GF posted me and local. Are we dating the same guy groups? Should I?
Yeah. I gotta hold on. Let's pause real quick. Hold up. So y'all was dating, y'all had a falling out, y'all broke up. She cheated on she smashed somebody else. That's probably the reason why y'all broke up. This person she been hooking up with while y'all were broken up was her, I guess, fling that she wanted to. So in her mind, it's not cheating because she convinced you to break off the relationship with her, which there are some narcissistic people, male and female, that both do this. They will have an argument in their relationship so that they can go their separate ways for a break, quote unquote break. A break does not mean that y'all are no longer in a relationship with one another. A break means that you're taking a time out. You're going to go into your separate corners and decant your emotional instabilities before you regroup and try to fix this relationship. That does not mean that you are no longer involved with one another, where y'all are free to go and smash somebody else because you're on a break. This isn't like a 9-to-5 job where when you clock out and you're on a break, you're no longer being paid by the company so you can do whatever you want to do, including rob the company. That's not what this means. This means that if you are taking a little bit of space from each other to regroup in an emotionally intelligent fashion, and then come back together in a way where you will be able to communicate the miscommunication in a more effective way and then work out your differences. That's what a break is supposed to help you do. It's not supposed to give you the opportunity to smash other people. So the moment that she started smashing other people while y'all were on a break, your relationship was dead, bro. So for her to come back and start talking about marriage now and this, that, and the third, she coming to you talking about marriage now because she went back to the guy that she was sleeping with when she was on a break with you, which probably she caused this break. But while she's sleeping with this other dude, she ends up pregnant. It doesn't matter if they were drinking. It doesn't matter if they were taking drugs at a nightclub. Fact is, she wasn't with you. She's smashing another dude. Now she's pregnant. He's not going to take care of the kid. So she wants to marry you so that you can take care of this other dude's kid. But she wasn't staying at home with you so that she could have you be the daddy that take care of the kid, because that was your kid kind of situation. So in this situation right here, I would tell you, bro, like a crash car, I'd return it back to where it came from, because I'm not about to sit here and pay for damage that I didn't cause. So she is out there doing the dirty. She need to stay out there. She for the streets. She need to stay out in the streets. If she was wanting to be wife material, she would behave like a wife, which means that she would have went by her mama and them house and stayed with her sisters and ate popcorn and watched Bad Girls of New York or something like that. And then when she decided that she wanted to work things out with you, she would have came from her mama house, came to you, and had never slept with nobody else. But for her to be out there having flings with old flings and then getting pregnant by old flames, and then she want to come and talk to you about she want to fix the relationship now that she pregnant, and she want to work things out with you now that she pregnant, it don't matter if she going to get an abortion. You're not. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that type of mistake is the reason why there are abortion laws that says no, you can't go out there and do nothing stupid and then go out there and go take you some kind of plan B abortion pill or coat hanger fish hook the thing out. None of that, because it wasn't a situation that was beyond your control. It was stupidity that you're going to call an honest mistake, but it was deliberate stupidity that led to a situation you regret. That's what it was. And that's not something that's deserving of getting an abortion. And a lot of women are going to hate me for saying that, but I'm going to be real with you. If you're out there throwing it back with strange men voluntarily and you get pregnant for that, that does not qualify, in my opinion, for an abortion. That does not qualify, in my opinion, for a plan B pill. That qualifies for you to deal with that 9 months, poop that some gun out, and then hand it to the nurse and walk out the hospital, because at the end of the day, you did that. Because look, when Mystical made his mistake, he did 10 years, came back out, did another mistake, and went back in and did another 10. You're not going to tell me that women can make mistakes and not be held accountable for them in life, and men cannot make a mistake. And if a man makes a mistake, that he's going to be held accountable for that for the rest of his life. That makes absolutely no sense. All right, let's go ahead and try to see if we can figure out what we're going to do with this next comment.
I dump her. I've been seeing a woman for a few months. Found out she posted me in my local "Are we dating the same guy" groups. I came back clean. Trust feels like an issue now. It hangs over me that she can do this at any time. There was some risk for me, and she admits I'm not a safety concern. I feel this was too privacy violating and inconsiderate. She feels justified and won't acknowledge that it might bother her if someone did it to her. I'm inclined to end it.
Okay. So, yes, I would understand why you would feel violated by that, because she did a background check on you. But I am gonna also tell you, bro, we should be doing background checks on one another, bro. Like, let's be real. I'm just gonna come straight out. I think that it's pretty screwed up that she's dating you for a long period of time, and she decided to after she's already dating you to throw your name out there to see if you dating other women, because that shows a lack of trust in your relationship that already existed. But she should have took your name and threw it up on that website before she went out on the first date with you, if that's the kind of woman she gonna be. Because they got people out there, men and women alike, especially rich people. And I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Like, you're offended by the fact that she went and did a little bitty half-ass investigation on your ass. But I'm gonna tell you right now, rich people go hire a private investigator and go find out where the fuck you came from your birth certificate all the way to now. Okay, they dig deep. They try to make sure that there are no scandals. They try to make sure there's no criminal record. They try to make sure there's no fraud in your past. They try to make sure that there is nothing screwed up from your life that will negatively impact the reputation of the family business, the family name, or any suspicion of you only dating one of the members of the family for the family inheritance. So when you dating somebody with high financial status, oh, they're going to do a check on you. So for her to do that, I mean, I understand that you feel violated, bro, but I'm going to tell you, you should have did a check on her. You should have been trying to figure out if she got some baby daddies around the way. You should be doing. I don't understand why there are so many apps out there for women to try to prove that men are honest men, but there are not enough apps out there for men to confirm that these women are not ready for marriage. Like, we need to have references checked. We need to be able to have like a Yelp for ex-girlfriends, where dudes who experienced a negative female, we can go back and check the reviews. We can check the reviews. Because if she's not a 4-star, we should be like, well, let's find out from all these exes that she got, like, what happened? Like, because truth is like, you're going to find out eventually why she broke up with her last boyfriend, because whatever she did with him, she gonna do with you. And ladies, y'all gonna find out if he's dating other women, because if he was dating other women before you, he gonna be dating other women with you. So you're not gonna be able to say, oh, just because he's not dating nobody now, that he's not gonna start dating somebody while he's with you. Because if you're not giving him what he's looking for, he's gonna look for it somewhere else. So you have to understand that it is what you make it. But when you're choosing a man that's gonna go to work and come back home to you, and you don't validate that, you don't compliment that, you don't appreciate that, then I can guarantee you that eventually he's going to stop coming straight home for you. He's going to start coming home after a long day at work. He's going to start coming home after working late at work. He's going to stop coming home and he's going to start staying at the job, allegedly. Then he's going to be doing long weekend business trips, allegedly. Then he's going to end up out of town for a month, allegedly. And eventually you're going to find out he got a whole second family because you allowed that to happen. So you got to really think about the decisions that you make. But fella, if you feel offended that she threw you into the dating app and she tested your loyalty by asking other women across, and that app thing that she did, she threw your profile into like a clusterfuck of other dating app profile, and that shit gonna float around for a while. That's gonna float around for a while. So if you and her break up, guess what? If somebody else was to throw your name into that shit, then it will ping back that somebody had asked that question not too long ago. So if you don't go into that app and say newly single, they're going to be doing a socially reconstructed background check on you, and it's not going to come back positive. And it's going to be a false negative. But the fact is that she's got to trust you, and she don't trust you, bro. You got no relationship. So regardless of how you look at that, if you don't feel like you trust her because she violated your trust by doing an open investigation on you without conversing with you about it first, then don't talk to her no more. But if she's going to be that person that you're going to try to build on, you're going to use that moment. I had another buddy of mine in Spain, and I told him the same thing. When she starts doubting your loyalty and y'all have that argument at the beginning of your relationship, you make it a point to let her know, 1, I'm not entertaining this argument. 2, if you have this argument with me again, we ain't talking no more. And 3, this will be the last time that you doubt me. on anything. I could be a fucker for the rest of the relationship, but you will trust that I will do whatever I said I was going to do, or you will trust that I will not come through with it because I haven't come through with it before. But either way it goes, you're not going to accuse me of not doing what I said I was going to do, and you're not going to accuse me of being with somebody that I wasn't with. If I was with him, I was with him. And fella told me, he's like, well, doesn't she deserve an explanation? No. Women are going to disagree. But think about it, ladies. Let me ask you this. If I did it on purpose, what explanation do I need to give you? Now, if I did it by accident, what explanation do I need to give you? So I either did it or I didn't do it. If I did it, if you don't care about why I did it, where you can fix it, then does it matter? If I did it on purpose and what I did it for has nothing to do with you, does it matter? No. What matters is what you're going to do now that you found out that it happened. That's the only thing that's going to matter now, is that it happened, you know about it, and you're either going to stay or you're going to go. That's the only thing that matters now. Validating it, trying to get your closure on the fact that it happened, that does not do anything but make you feel more psychologically and emotionally damaged from the fact that it happened, because not only did it happen and you find out about it, now you got all the details of what happened. And that does not make anybody feel better, knowing everything that happened. It just gives you more to cry about. So truth, he does not have to defend himself as to what he did or did not do. He either did it or he didn't do it. If he did it, he did it. If he says he didn't do it, let it go. Now, if you don't trust him, let him go. But in neither situation should you be beating a dead horse with it, trying to prove. And if you've got to take money out of his pocket and go buy a private investigator to prove that he's not being faithful, you should just leave him. If you've got to take money out of your pocket and do a background check on him to prove that he's loyal, you should just leave him, because you ain't got no faith in him. No way. You're looking for a reason to break up with him. So you subconsciously want to break up with him. You want to divorce him, because if you didn't want to divorce him, you wouldn't be looking for an excuse to divorce him. So let's be real. At the end of the day, bro, if you got a girl that's at the beginning of the relationship trying to find an excuse to break up with you, and you feel like this is a little bit of a no-no, drop her right now, because I can tell you that she's the kind of woman that's going to go through your phone. She's going to track your GPS signal. She's going to try to find out, oh, have you been to X, Y, and Z? If your cell phone went somewhere too close to a place that she would prefer that you not go, bro, she going to hang you for that. That's what's going to happen. And there's no defense. You could be minding your business. Your car could break down and your car could be in the neighborhood of a hotel, and she'll swear to God you was in that hotel. She gonna shut you down, bro. And at the end of the day, no matter what you say, you are lying if you don't give her the whole GPS location of the actual location that you were at. And still, in that scenario, now you're in defensive. Why does a man have to defend his actions? Most women feel like you're not their daddy and you shouldn't be able to ask her where she's been and where she's going. So why are we in these types of relationships with the types of females that are going to dictate that we must answer to her 100% of the way? We're getting interrogated like First 48 because we parked our car somewhere, but she's going to do what she wants to do, and we're not supposed to question it. Nah, that's not going to work. If I'm not questioning you, you're not questioning me. If I don't like what you're doing, then you're out of my house. If you don't like what I'm doing, then you're out of my house. Either way, we're not arguing about this situation. All right, let's go ahead and try to tiptoe on over to the next one, because we got quite a few of these.
Girl showed up at his house while I was there. Say, here's what happened. I spent Saturday night at his place. We literally had someone show up and knock on his window aggressively at around 11 p.m. Apparently, it was a woman he saw before. He said she went to his place to see if he wanted to mess around, but he told her he had company already, meaning me. Not sure what else was said, I didn't really ask. Just wanted reassurance he wasn't married or currently seeing someone. He said he's single and that he only wants me moving forward. He asked to become exclusive. I told him I don't know. He tried to make it seem like they saw each other 3 months ago, but no woman is going to show up pissed at 11 p.m. after 3 months. More like last week. I'm thinking he's seeing both of us. Am I overthinking it? We've been seeing each other about a month.
I was stood up.
Yeah, you're overthinking it. But what I am gonna say is the issue that you have is that if this chick came to the house bamming on the door at 11 o'clock at night, clearly she knew that you was over there and she's trying to cause trouble in your engagements with him. There are toxic people, men and women alike, that have this notion that they will continue to disrupt the life of their ex just to make sure that their ex is not happy, that their ex stays miserable until their ex gets back with them. So can a woman from 3 months ago come to this man's house bamming on a door because there's an extra car in the driveway? Yes, there is. There are men and women alike that will block burn their ex's house, and just to make sure that he ain't got nobody else in the house. And if there's somebody else in the house, they want to know who it is. So they bam it on the door so that they can get him to open the door so that they can come in and see who the other woman is. But the thing is, you have to ask yourself, do you want to be exclusively in a relationship with this dude? Not recognizing whether or not this female is going to be involved or not, because people have past, people have recent past, and his recent past is knocking on his door at 11 o'clock at night. So do you want to deal with that? Do you want to step up and mark your territory and tell this female that she's not going to be able to continue bamming on his door because you're going to be here from now going forward? Or do you want to be that kind of female that goes and finds the dude that will patiently wait for you to give him the time of day? That is completely up to you. But when a man that is playing the field decides that he's going to stop playing the field, a man that decides to go from chasing quantity to a man that decides to stop with quality, he's going to shut down every other low quality female that he was involved with before, because the quality female that he was looking for, he has found. Now, when that happens, those women will be bitter and they will come back around and they will try to mess up his relationship. And the reason why they will mess up his relationship is because what most people do, men and women alike, is they will fall back on their jump offs. They will fall back on their friends with benefits. They'll fall back on their exes when their current relationship does not work out. So the females that want him, that can't have him, will sabotage his current relationship like crabs in a bucket, so that he will fall back on them for that toxic emotional reassurance. And that's not healthy for either person, but that's what people do, men and women alike. So if you are trying to be that woman for him, if you thought before that chick bammed on the door that he was a good dude, then you stick with him. Women are always going to wonder if a female coming to the house at 11 o'clock at night is his wife. It could be his sister. It could be his auntie. It could be an ex. But the fact is that none of that is your business. If you want this man to be all about you, he's going to be all about you if he is, in fact, a genuine man. But if he is not a genuine man, he's probably going to be smarter about it. If y'all been dating for a month, he's probably going to be smarter about it, where he's not going to have you found out by the girlfriend in 30 days time. This one of them situations where y'all been dating for like half a year, 2 years, and then at some point he's going to break the news to you, or he's going to break the news to her that you exist. Something's going to happen, but somewhere along the lines, you guys are going to be marching down that path where you're going to recognize that it ain't working like that. It ain't working the way you wanted it to work. The cheaters are all over the place, men and women alike. So it's going to be hard for us to really find the right one. So we have to take it slow, and we have to find a better way to vet the people that we call ourselves trying to date, because if we do, then we'll be in a better relationship. But until we do, we're going to have a lot of negative relationships that are going to have a lot of negative fallouts, that's going to have a lot of damage to our emotional estate. And we're going to have to rectify that. Our self-esteem has to be rebuilt as men after every relationship. And our emotional self-esteem and our emotions and our self-esteem are going to have to be rebuilt after every rejection in between dates. So we're going to have to build ourselves up a lot stronger than what women believe that we have to do in order for us to be considered capable of getting back out there and trying it again. So let's go ahead and go touch base on the next one, because I do believe we got a few more left here.
Today,
I plan to meet this guy for the first time today. We plan to meet around 7 to 7:15 p.m. after work. I reached the place and texted him to let me know once he reached the place. I waited for 30 minutes and never got a response. I left around 7:45 saying, since it's been 30 minutes and I have other plans, I'll leave now. Let's meet another time. I got a message around 8 saying that he was locked in at work and this completely slipped out of his mind and that he'd make up to me the next time we meet. I said it's okay, I understand if it's a work commitment and we can reschedule some other time. Should I go? Should I not go? I'm sad and confused.
I'm 27.
You can go. So I said this earlier in the show that if you are dealing with somebody who prioritizes their job when y'all first start dating, they will prioritize their job. But if they accidentally left you hanging, then they will make it up to you on the next date. They are going to do something to validate the fact that they are trying to change, because there are people that are called workaholics. And those are people that always work, like they breathe to work, and they work to survive. They don't necessarily have to be poor. They just don't know how to stop working. So those are the types of people who will put their jobs before their families. And recognizing that, whether it's a doctor, lawyer, anybody to that effect, police officer, military agent, their job, CIA agent, their jobs come before living a normal life. Their whole life is their job. And sometimes when they bring their job home with them, now you've got, police officers at your house and gunfire and everything like that, and secret missions happening in your basement and black helicopters landing in your backyard. These are the things that you just got to put up with when you're dating somebody who basically married their job. Now, do you want to be in that kind of relationship where you come second to the job? If the answer to that question is no, then don't give him a second date. If he's got the kind of job that gives you the standard of living that you're looking for, and his absence for work is not going to bother you because you've got the lifestyle that you want while he's not there, then go on another date. He may prioritize you once he finds the value in you, and then he will stop having you come second to his job. But you as a woman have to show your validity, because for a man to put you before his money, you have to be very, very valuable. And sex is not it. So you got to really think about that. All right, let's go ahead and let's check on the next one, because we got a couple more. I know, we got a list of them today. I should have made the list shorter.
And my best friend, who's also 27, is getting married tomorrow with my ex, who is 29. How do I recover from this? Sorry, I have no one to talk to, cause this all happened in the past, and don't want them to think I still have feelings for him, which I've truly moved on a long time ago. My ex and I dated for over a year. Our relationship felt forced. I insisted that he date me, hoping he might catch feelings for me. I noticed I invested more in our relationship than he did. He put in minimal effort while I kept doing things out of my way. I have this best friend, and we've been inseparable for a decade until we had to migrate. I went to Norway, and she moved to the US. I met my boyfriend at a university, and he was also a friend of my friend. I kept being told that I shouldn't force anyone to be with me. But I thought if he didn't want to be with me, he could have said no in the first place. Anyway, my best friend and I hadn't seen each other for 7 years. We planned a trip, and I invited my boyfriend. It was our summer, so it was fine to go abroad. It was a 14-day trip. My boyfriend and my best friend truly hit it off. Don't get me wrong. My best friend is the most genuine, kind, and funny person I've ever met. She's the social butterfly between us. She always makes sure I'm comfortable because I'm kind of an introverted person. To be honest, throughout our friendship, she put in more effort than I did. Even more than my ex-boyfriend. He barely did anything for me. It was painful to see him in those 14 days. He was never as fun, caring, kind, or effortful with me. Both of them are adrenaline junkies, adventurous, and like to party. We made a plan. I was in charge for the first week, and she was in charge for the second week. I know they enjoyed the activities I planned, but they were probably just doing them for me.
They probably wouldn't have been there if it weren't for me. I like to glam up, visit cafes, and go to galleries, which they did. But I saw how enthusiastic and carefree my ex was when we were doing her activities. The trip ended with the end of our relationship. He broke up with me a month later. A year after that, my friend sent me a screenshot showing that he had messaged her. I told her I had a feeling this would happen. My ex-boyfriend wasn't the player type. He grew up with sisters. I told her that whatever happens, I wouldn't get mad, but I would definitely be hurt by it. I love her a lot, and it hurts that my relationship with him seemed to be a way for them to meet. I'm writing this after 5 years because they're getting married tomorrow. I personally asked her not to make me the maid of honor, but I would still come. They're not bad people, but the situation makes it awkward for the three of us. How do I get over this? My last relationship was with him, and now I'm scared that I'm just someone else's bridge.
I know. That hurt, didn't it, bro? That hurt. Look, even Kane came up here. He's like, "Oh man, that sounds so sad." Yeah. All right, get down. Look, so let me tell you how he listened to the story. He came up here. He feeling bad. Look, I feel bad for it too, but I can almost tell you, what you have to realize is that you're right. You can't force somebody to care for you. You can't force somebody to love you. And you would assume that men will just jump right out and tell you that they don't like you out the gate. But if you are physically attractive and you're willing to have sex with them, some men, especially the young men, because you're telling me you're in college, so y'all are in y'all early 20s, they're not going to say no to that. But if he finds that he has a physical attraction and an emotional attraction to your friend outside of the physical attraction to you, he's going to see what that relationship is like. Now, he might be the kind of guy that's not going to sleep with you and sleep with your friend at the same time. So he broke up with you because him and your friend hit it off a month before y'all broke up. But you have to understand that he broke up with you to get with your friend. And the 5 years of him and your friend being together, and now all of a sudden they're getting married, I would not go to that wedding. I wouldn't. I don't care what kind of friendship we got. If my homeboy was to try to marry my ex, my immediate ex now, because you got to understand, the more partners that you have, the more opportunity for your ex to come and gravitate to one of your homeboys if y'all all stay in the same neighborhood. But I'm not trying to be in a position where my ex is going to be dating one of my homeboys. You know what I'm saying? But my immediate ex, like we just broke up a month ago kind of thing, that's the violation of bro code right there. Now, if I've already got somebody else and this is like 2 exes ago kind of thing, where I broke up with this person like 2-3 years ago, then it should be fair game. But technically they're supposed to be off limits, but it's more fair game when a year or so passes by after the last relationship. But 30 days, they was one step away from having an affair behind your back. So, I mean, it's good that he broke up with you before that happened. But the thing is that probably, and you're not going to like this, but probably he wasn't really feeling what was going on with you because he didn't want you. He wanted the friend, but he didn't have access to the friend. He had you because you forced your way into a relationship. Women don't understand that a man doesn't want a woman to be forceful. Men want a woman that is confident about themselves, yes, but not controlling in the relationship. Men are going to want a woman that is going to be able to make decisive decisions so that the man isn't trying to play guess who when he's trying to figure out what she wants. But a man is not going to want a woman that's bossy. A man is not going to want a woman that is going to only focus on what she wants and not prioritize what he wants. Because in a relationship, he is going to prioritize what she wants. So she should not prioritize what she wants. She should only be able to mention what she wants and then prioritize what is best for him. Because if she prioritizes what is best for him, she already knows that she's in a relationship with the kind of man that is going to prioritize what is best for her. And if any event that the two of you have something going on that conflicts You guys, if you're prioritizing him and he's prioritizing you, you guys will come to talk about the fact that this situation is going to conflict and we need to find an equal medium where you're going to get a little bit of what you were looking for. I'm going to get a little bit of what I'm looking for, but we're not going to be disappointed as to what we give up between the two of us. If he's exciting and adrenaline junkie and you are artsy and museumy, that's fine. He might go to the museums and the art shows and the operas for you, but you're going to have to fall off a cliff for him. And if you're not capable of doing that, then he needs to be dating the kind of chick that's willing to fall off the cliff for him. That's just the way life goes. Because a lot of times, while opposites do attract, some compatibility needs to be there where there are some similarities between the two of you. You don't have to be a mirror image of one another, but you have to have enough things in common that you guys can do stuff together that you both enjoy, even if it's not a lot of things. There are some times where you're going to do things that I like and sometimes that I'm going to do things that you like, but there are going to be times that we both like the same thing. We're not supposed to be twins. We're not supposed to only like all the same stuff. But you have to understand that even when we like different things, that you have to invest your effort into the things that I like the same way I have to invest the efforts into the things that you like. That's the only way that you're going to be successful in a relationship. Because having a person that is not a mirror image of you will last a whole lot longer and be a whole lot less boring than being in a relationship with somebody that is completely opposite of you. But somebody that's completely opposite of you, it's probably going to be harder for you to maintain that relationship if you don't value their interests, even if you don't like their interests. You like them and they like their interests, and therefore you like their interests the same way they like you, and they don't like your interests, but because they like you, they therefore must entertain your interests. That's how relationships succeed. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
How are you guys preventing yourselves from getting attached too quickly? I've read a lot of people who feel this way usually struggle with getting matches. And not sound conceited, I don't struggle with that. But I do struggle with forming bonds. Very few people tend to be interesting and fun to talk to because I have very specific interests, but then I'll literally get attached after 2 days of talking. And I work, go to school, and have time-intensive hobbies. So I am a busy person, but I am still constantly waiting for their next response. And I get sad if too much time passes, and I'm a total mess when I get ghosted.
Well, that's pretty fucked up. Hold on a second.
I am
She got a little bit more
32
to
and
say.
just found out my third.
So that's the other person. All right. So, because we still working on this audio problem today. StreamYard didn't do well by us today. We're gonna have to talk to StreamYard one more again about these audio files having extensive delays and audio problems. But apparently, she putting her heart out on the sleeve, and she's trying to figure out how do men not do that. I can tell you the answer to that question real quick. We get rejected so much and we get ghosted so much that we have gotten used to the fact that we might be attracted to a female and we're not going to act on that right away. It doesn't mean that we didn't get sprung on the person from first sight, from first text message, from first meet. It just means that we are not going to put ourselves in a compromising position to allow ourselves to be emotionally invested in a negative way where we will be continuously emotionally destroyed by each negative engagement or each nullified engagement, because they don't always have to be negative. A lot of times a relationship, a short relationship or engagement, can just be nullified by the absence of interest for the other person. It could be nullified by the absence of engagement from the other person. And while that crushes us that we've reached out to them, but they didn't respond, or we reached out to them and they didn't respond in a timely fashion, the fact is that the more often that it happens to you, the less often you care about it. And because men have to do that initiation on a regular basis, we're going to get ghosted 400 times more than a woman gets ghosted. We're going to get rejected 400 times more than a woman gets rejected. We're going to be left on red more often than a woman is left on red. And I mean, it devastates you the one time it does happen, but this is like one out of however many men that are chasing. You are ignoring a bunch of men that are interested in you for the one guy that ghosted you. And you're depressed that that one guy that you said yes to ghosted you out of the 499 other guys that you said no to. But the guy that is ghosted by you has been ghosted probably by 300 to 500 other women before one woman says yes. So how do we not get emotionally invested? We're used to rejection. That's how men get. We already know that if we're in a relationship right now, one of the reasons why a man is going to try to make that relationship work is because he doesn't want to go through the census all over again and get rejected by a few hundred women all over again to find another woman. A lot of times men reach a certain age where they're just tired of negative relationships followed by consistent rejection, and they just stop trying. They retire out of the game. And the fact is that I don't blame them, because the equality dictates that women have the responsibility that they fought for women's liberation, to reach out and let a man know that she's interested in him, instead of just putting on an overly sexualized outfit and hoping that the man will come over and talk to her. Instead of her batting her eyelashes, if she get her ass up out the chair and walk over and say, I think you're amazing, that would get his attention a whole lot faster than continuously crossing your legs so that he can hopefully get a flash of your underpants in that really short skirt, so that he can walk over there with the mindset of, we might have sex in the bathroom. And you think that is going to turn into a marriage. That's not. It's not. It might turn into a decent fling. It might turn into a summer affair, but it's not going to turn into a lifelong relationship. Lifelong relationships come from sacrifice. Lifelong relationships come from investment. Lifelong relationships come from attachments, devotion, dedication. This is not something that's going to happen where, oh, he thinks I'm cute, I'm going to marry him. No. And it's not going to come from, oh, she thinks I'm rich, she's going to marry me. No. Because I could tell you that even if you're rich, if you beat on her enough, she's still going to leave. Even if you're broke, if you know, you can cater to her hand and foot, but if you can't afford to pay for her personal expectations, she going to walk, bro. And ladies, it don't matter what you think about your Fortune 500 career. If you're not able to come back to the house and make that man feel like a king outside the bedroom, you're not going to keep this man. What's that girl named Cooking with Kaya? She gonna have more men watching her. You know why? Not because she be shaking her behind on the thing, because she cook. Because she cook. That's it. You know how many she got how many millions of followers? Not because she got her cleavage hanging out and wearing tight clothes and shaking her behind on the podcast and everything. She got all them followers because the female cooking in the thing by her. She making that food from scratch, bro. I seen them jumbo size potato. I don't even know what store she went. I will follow her podcast just to find out where the hell she got them 10-pound potatoes that she made them loaded potatoes with, bro. I'm being for real. But that means she know how to shop, because 2 of them potatoes will fill a man up. I ain't even gonna cap. She know where to shop. And if you put them potatoes with steak, a steak and potato with the potato was big, bro. The potato was bigger than a chihuahua, bro. So you get the 2 loaded potatoes like that, and then you mix that up with some steak, and then you got glass of wine with that. And bro, I'm telling you, she could keep a man. All she got to do is have a non-negative attitude, and she got one. So why does that female got so many men watch her podcast? Because she cooks some of the simplest things in the world that'll get a man to keep a man. Organizing his situation. So you can clean up, you can straighten things out. He could do his own laundry, but you can fold it up and put it away so that it ain't got no creases in it. You don't need no iron. Most people buying clothes that's got wrinkle-free, Scotch Guard, all this other stuff on there. All you got to do is just make sure when it come out the dryer, that you make sure that it goes somewhere where it don't got wrinkles on it when he go to pull it out of the closet. You could be the kind of woman that knows what kind of outfits your man wear, and instead of you allowing him to spend an hour trying to get ready for work, you pull his clothes out while he's in the shower. You help him fix his tie while he's getting dressed. You know, you show him how he's important. You know, if you dress your man and he's getting all these compliments while he's out there in the street, he can attribute your desire to see him look successful to the compliments that he's getting in the street. back in the 70s, men didn't dress themselves. A man looked single because he didn't dress well. A man looked kept by a woman because he always looked sharp. The women with good sense of style kept their men looking amazing. That made other women want that man because she kept that man up. These days, a man got to keep himself dressed to the nines, and his woman don't even give a shit about it because she dressing to the 10 so that she can go and impress other men, because you got sweatpants on and sweaters, and you got the bonnet and everything going on at the house. You walking around the house with flip-flops on and baggy shirts on, talking about something you want to be comfortable at the house. But as soon as you get ready to leave the house, you got clothes so tight you have a yeast infection walking down the street so that you can show off your assets to another man while you got a man at home. You are not supposed to look busted at your house and then sexy in the street when you got a man at the house, because you're supposed to be looking sexy for your man. You're not supposed to be looking for sexy for other men. So why are you out there looking busted in your house and then sexy in the street? And no man should tolerate that. But if you putting up with it, bro, you putting up with it. Me, I'm not. If you're not looking sexy in the house, then you're not looking sexy in the street neither. I might as well get rid of all your sexy clothes, because if you ain't looking sexy for me, then you should not be looking sexy for anybody else. That's just my expectations right there. And I understand, like, some men will co-sign on that. Some men will be like, nah, I don't know about all that, bro. But truth, bro, how would you feel if your female, Red, tell me, how would you feel if your female was looking extra sexy when she not around you, but when she come back to the house, she looked like your sister? Like, she dressed like your ass don't even matter. Like, you'd be pissed off, right? Because I know I'd be pissed off. I'd be offended by that shit. I'd be like, hold on, how was you? High heels on, mini skirt, thongs on, push-up bra, hair did, $2,500 worth of makeup so that you can leave the house. But when you in the house, you got on sweatpants and a sweater, and you done took your wig off, but you got your little scully on. Come on now, don't try me like that. That ain't gonna be okay. If you're not doing that for me, you shouldn't be doing it for nobody else. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's keep going with this. We got a couple minutes left.
36-year-old husband, together 10, married 2. Cheated on me the first year we were in a relationship, and now I feel like our entire relationship is a lie. How do I move past this? My husband and I have been together for nearly a decade. We have 2 kids together, been married for going on 3 years this fall. The first summer we were together, we stayed at my parents' house for this big pool party they throw in the summer, and my best friend from high school was there. A few weeks after the party, I found out through a message from said friend's ex that she fooled around with my boyfriend in my parents' hot tub when I was sleeping. I never had any proof that it happened, and he swore up and down he didn't. So after a lot of confusion and heartbreak on my part, I ended the relationship with that friend and moved forward with my boyfriend/now husband. Fast forward to this past weekend. My husband and I were in a stupid drunken fight, and he admitted he actually did fool around with her in the hot tub back then. After 10 fucking years, he finally admitted it and shattered my entire world at once. I don't know what to do or where to start with even thinking through this. I don't want to break up our marriage, mostly for our kids' sake, they are young, but I don't know how I could possibly start to forgive him. He gaslit me into thinking I was crazy for accusing him for years, and now I know I was right the entire time. I feel physically ill over this revelation. I know this is an extremely personal situation and you are a group of strangers on the internet, but I just need someone to tell me what they would do in this situation. I feel completely lost and broken. The last 4 days have been nothing short of depressing and heartbreaking, but you all have helped in your own way. I have only spoken to my husband when absolutely necessary regarding the kids or household, and spent the rest of the time working or focusing on my children. He has been trying to talk to me, apologizing profusely, and said he has reached out to a marriage counselor for us to see. He also promised to quit drinking, a major problem in our relationship for years, start going to the gym and see a counselor for his own issues. Neither one of us had great examples of marriage growing up. My parents are still unhappily married 33 years later, and his parents were in the midst of divorce when he was right out of high school and his dad killed himself over it. I don't think either of us personally has seen a healthy marriage up close, so we are both pretty lost as to what makes a marriage work. But I have reached out to a counselor for myself to try to work through my feelings and decide if I want to continue the marriage or separate. When I am ready to talk to him again, I will be asking for every single detail of what happened in that fucking hot tub a decade ago. This has gone on long enough and I deserve to know the full truth to aid in my decisions.
Oh no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. All right. So let me tell you something real quick, man. First of all, what you don't want to do is find out what happened in that fucking hot tub. I'm gonna tell you right now. Pimping since been pimping since been pimping. Miss Ma'am. This is the thing. He probably made a huge human error back when y'all first got together. But you're telling me that y'all was with each other for over 10 years. Then you got married. You're now married almost 3 years. You're telling me 13 years ago. Didn't I tell y'all at the beginning of the show that this shit happens? 13 years ago, he made a mistake. He regretted it. He never made that mistake again. But you are about to, 13 years later, condemn this man for something that he did 13 years ago. That is unnecessary. Every relationship that is a decade, 2 decades, 4 decades long has some type of inappropriate content, whether it's infidelity, whether it's habits. He's got a drinking problem. You clearly got a drinking problem because y'all was drunk when y'all had the drunken fight. Neither one of y'all know what a healthy relationship looks like, and typically we pick what we're familiar with. So if we're used to toxic relationships, we're going to pick our type is going to be a toxic relationship. So if you grew up with an unhealthy marriage, you're going to find a man that's going to give you an unhealthy marriage. He grew up with a toxic relationship. He's going to end up attracted to a toxic relationship. In order for y'all to break that habit, do exactly what y'all are doing now. Go to counseling. You get individual counseling and couples counseling. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but y'all can't talk to each other about what's going on with your own personal thoughts and feelings without breaking out into an argument. So you got to go talk to pay somebody to listen to you, because if you talk to your best friends will sabotage your marriage and fuck up your whole marriage. So you don't want to go talking to friends and family, because you're also not supposed to degrade or disgrace your relationship. Usually people in the church go talk to the pastor, and the pastor not supposed to talk to nobody. You go to the confessionals when you're the Catholic church, but outside of that, go to marriage counseling. You go and talk to the marriage counselor. You go and talk to the personal counselor. Get your emotions together, get your feelings straight, and then after you finish working all those issues out, then you want to make your way over to the ability to communicate with your husband. But when you do not want any details about that hot tub. Why? If you're thinking about getting a divorce, get the details. If you're thinking about trying to make this work, don't get the details, because women have a better imagination than men. Men can only think about sex. When they look at a woman, they think about sex. But once they see it, they're like, Women can read a novel and imagine what's going on. So if this man is describing to you moment by moment what was going on in that hot tub, what's going to happen is every time you decide to have relations with this man, you are going to be imagining him doing to her the same stuff that he's doing to you, which is going to turn you off, which is going to ruin your sex life, which is going to ultimately ruin your marriage anyway. If you continue to think about what this man did 13 years ago, just because you got a confession today, and think about this, you're gonna say that your whole marriage was a lie. It wasn't. The man loved you the whole 13 years. He messed around with your friend at the very beginning of the relationship 10 years before you got married. So it's not like he did this on your wedding night. Y'all first year of dating, he hooked up with your friend. You dropped your friend, which you would have dropped your friend if you would have found out about this after y'all got married. But he dated you for 10 years, married you for 3, and now you're pissed off about it. That's not, I'm going to be real with you. I don't care if a woman would have did that to a man. If you stuck with her for 13 years and she made out with your brother when y'all first started going out, I can't say that it is fair now, 13 years later, y'all done built history together, y'all got children together, that you're going to condemn her for 13 years ago. So real truth, roles reverse, ma'am. I'm going to tell you, if the first year that y'all was dating and he hooked up with one of your friends in a hot tub and you managed not to find out about that 13 years ago, the statute of limitations is 10 and it's 13. If statute of limitations long since passed, you might as well just write that off as his free pass and he's not going to get another one. So you should just go ahead and move on with your marriage. Work on it, go to counseling, figure it out, because he's not cheating on you on a regular basis right now. He's not missing in action right now. He's being a good dad to the children. He's being a good husband to the wife. That might have been a learning experience for him, that he was able to become a better man as a result of the stupidity that he performed that day. But at the same time, though, there's no, after 13 years, there's only so many times and so many ways that somebody can say, I'm sorry, I screwed up. The same way there's no right way to tell somebody that they're fucking up, there's no way to get somebody to forgive you when you make a mistake. But in order for you to move on, whether you move on with divorce or you move on with acceptance of the past, you just got to forgive and let go. That don't mean you got to forget it. You forgive and let it go. Now, if he makes it a habit, then you start talking about getting a divorce. But very few relationships do you have a man not end up in an affair where a woman has not gotten an affair and cheated on her husband. Men and women alike. 20, 30, 50-year marriages. Affairs happen. They get bored with each other. And then they go and find excitement with somebody else. And then they realize what they've got at home. And then they go back to their husband or their wife. That's what happens. You get some counseling. You get over it. It is what it is. There isn't a high enough statistic that proves that monogamy is the most effective relationship. Forgiveness is the most effective relationship. Respect and validation, compromise are the most respected relationships. But monogamy, not necessarily. And open relationships are not all that pleasant either. But if you're screening the partners that your husband or your wife is with, and you approve of the partners that your husband or wife is with, at least you know who they're getting involved with. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the only difference from them keeping it a secret from you. Swingers, where married couples switch partners in open relationships. If you're not going to be faithful, it's better to be in a relationship where you guys have an understanding that you're not going to be faithful. That way, the extramarital affairs are not going to damage the marriage. Because think about billionaire Donald Trump, $135,000 for a prostitute. His wife did not divorce him. His kids are grown. His wife got nothing to lose. If she divorced him, she's half a billionaire. She was a $50 million woman when she met him. If she divorced him at, I think he's somewhere between $2 and $4 billion right now. If she divorced him, she'd get half of that. She'd be a billionaire divorced woman. At her age, she would only be able to get jump offs. She would be the cougar that's going after all of the young bucks, because she would not be able to find another husband with the business sense that Donald Trump has to continue giving her the life of luxury. So, and then Bill Clinton, same thing. His wife is still with him. Will Smith, his wife got another boyfriend. He's got another boyfriend. They still married, but they live in two separate houses on opposite sides of the city. It happens. People don't always get divorced. So instead of thinking that divorce is the option, think about working it out. That is the best way to go. If you work it out, then you're more likely to have a successful relationship than what you would if you dwell on a 13-year-old mistake that only happened one time. Now, if it would have been happening for the last 13 years, oh yeah, you should be mad. But it happened one time. 13 years ago when y'all first got together. Y'all's been dating each other for 10 years, got married, been married for 3 years, and now you're pissed off about it? Nah. That's like buying a crash car and like 15 years later, you're complaining about the dent that you got. It was like that when you got it. Now you want to complain about it? The return policy is what, 30 to 90 days? Like, and you sitting over here tripping? Like, nah, that's not okay. All right, that's all I have for you guys for the Q&As for today. I know that tomorrow I was supposed to be putting together a show for you guys. We're going to be talking about Russia, positive stuff about Russia, good places to go, the culture there, business investments, international, foreign, domestic, foreign national involvements with the country, because we've been doing a lot of other countries throughout the time, and so far we've been dealing with Russia being about 25 or 30% over the past 30 to 45 days of the following. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a story about Russia. And while we do that story about Russia, we want to make sure that you guys like and subscribe and follow us, because we're going to be here every night of the week, starting at about 10 o'clock every night of the week. In addition to that, we're going to have another lineup, and I gotta touch base on a lot of things. So I'm trying to figure out which ones are going to happen, but we're going to get the lineup going over the next few days. So you guys will be able to see that as you go to the YouTube channel and take a look at that. So you can pick and choose. I would come just every day of the week, whether you come on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. I would just come every day of the week, because you're going to learn something. You're either going to improve socially, you're going to improve as a man or as a woman, because the advice that I give to men, I give to women, but I'm going to give it to you from a male's perspective. And then you're going to also improve yourselves financially. So I would just encourage you to come back on a daily basis. With that being said, I'm going to make sure that I tell you guys, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And fellas, I really appreciate you guys coming to the show. You guys make it what we are today. So special shout out again to Red Void, Omni81, Liberty Twitcher, Mr. Pibbs. We really appreciate you guys. Max Opposer, Reese Martinez. We really appreciate you guys coming to the show and showing us love on a regular basis. Thank you for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see
higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground.